Stop for a second. Just stop doing what you are doing right now. Put everything aside. If you are holding your phone, put it down somewhere, but not too far so that you can hear what I'm about to tell you. So, look around you. See everything. In their very detail. See everything in detail. You see the person on your device, whether it's laptop or smartphone, speaking to you. You hear the voice. You hear those decibels. Try to perceive them. Really sense them. Really recognize that you are hearing words coming out of my mouth. Recognize that you see a person, a figure. Recognize that that person is located in a little space. Then look around the room. Look around the space you are located in. Perceive every furniture. See, recognize it, its form, its color. Forget about the names of those furnitures or those things which attract you the most in this room. Forget about them. Forget about the concepts. Deliberately try to remove for some period of time those concepts. Forget that chair is a chair. Forget that TV is a TV. Forget that refrigerator is refrigerator. Or forget that lighting is lighting. It becomes somewhat mystical when you forget about the names, about the concepts, about the ideas you have of something. And you start to ponder, what it might actually be. You see a chair and you do not understand what it is. The deeper you go, the better you see the beauty of its creation. Right now, there is a chair beside me. If you try to really look at the chair and see the chair, see its form, see its color, you will understand that this is something else. This is not a chair. This is something of a beauty, not just a simple furniture. So, repeat this process of forgetting the concept, forgetting the name, forgetting the biases, preconceived ideas about something, and perceive its reality. And accept it. Accept that you do not understand it. Accept that you don't know what it is. But it is something that has to exist because you see it, because you sense it, because you might touch it, actually. It has to exist. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. And you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't be able to touch it, or smell it, or kiss it, or hug it. You won't be able to do that all if it did not deserve to exist. Now, forget about the chair and put put instead of the chair a person whom you appreciate the least. Do you really know who that person is? Do you really have an idea how exactly that person lives, how he or she eats, how they dress, how they wake up, what kind of a mood they have usually? Do you have a clear-cut idea of who they are? No. No, we don't. We don't know others for sure. We do not understand the personality traits they might have. We do not even understand ourselves to the best level possible, and how we might judge others. How can we tell for sure and take for granted opinions about the personalities of other people around us? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. We might have, however, some speculations about things in general. So, we might use this capability of speculating not only for our good, but actually for good of others, for the good of relationship building, for building high quality relationships. And more specifically, we could use it in putting ourselves into the shoes of others. And the main principle in putting yourself into the shoes of others is wholly about putting yourself, or rather, keeping yourself in your own shoes. Seems kind of paradoxical, perhaps, but in order to be able to put yourself on the place of another person, you have to understand who you are as a person. And as you will get the main idea why you were born, what you are, as you will get deeper into our behavior patterns, our psychology, you shall understand that, holy shit, I've been biasing myself all the time with ideas of others. I've been lying to myself. I've been doing all that bad things, useless things, when I could have spent my time just investing in myself, learning who I am, learning who I really am. Do not rush to judge yourself. It's not a reason for criticism. There is no reason for criticizing yourself for duping yourself, basically, for years, because you've been doing all that. You've been accepting ideas of others. You've been biasing yourself because you love yourself. Here is a good side of this issue you might have in building relationships. What we usually tend to have as an obstruct, as a hinder of developing our relationship, is being selfish. So, we consider selfishness as something devilish. We consider it as something purely bad, which has to be eliminated, which has to be burnt down to its last atom. But we forget that selfishness is done out of love towards ourselves. So we are kind of equating all the pros and cons until they are perfectly equal. So, on one hand, we have selfishness as a bad attribute, and on the other, we have it as something good, as something positive. And you see, there is a dichotomy in everything. There is a split which separates the whole thing into a positive and somewhat negative side. And all that all this contemplation ruminations about what is a human being. can ultimately lead you, spoiler alert, to the idea that we are God. You are God. You are an infinite consciousness. You see and perceive the things which, for instance, microorganisms cannot. And vice versa. Vice versa. You cannot perceive the image perceived by microorganisms. Like a worm, for instance. You can see the image the worm sees. And the worm cannot see the image you see. Even the worm is God. Because, basically speaking, you see the reality at a level of creator. So what you see, basically, look around you for another time. So see every aspect of the room you're located in. And as you move your eyes from one object to another, all other objects you've seen before, they completely vanish. Although they stay, but they evaporate from your view. Where your eyes go, the image is created. Remember who the God is? He's the creator. But that's a superficial idea. So, in order to really grasp the idea, there has to be a meditation practice. There has to be countless meditation practices done for several years, perhaps. It depends from one person to another, which includes, getting deeply into the very nature of reality. And recognizing that there are some attributes you have which can only be described as the attributes of God. See. With this understanding that you and I are gods, it will be quite a difficult thing to accept. If you are a religious person, if you attest Christianity or Islam, Judaism, you don't have to recant from those religions. It's an optional thing. So, still, if you are a religious person, you accept the idea of God, of the existence of God. So, even though it might be not really truthful idea, it is still the truth that God exists. So, This understanding that you get, that you are God, you are basically everything, that you have to invest into yourself to realize that you are God. This will help you a lot with putting yourself into the shoes of others. In which way? You would ask, well, you'll understand that there is no difference between you and another person, between you and a tree, between you and a monkey, between you and your partner, between you and your boss. Absolutely no difference. You see the same reality. You sense the same things. You touch the same things mostly. You have so many things in common. You just have to change your perspective a little bit. Actually, not change, but broaden your perspective a little bit to encompass much more scope, so to say, a larger scope. And this expansion leads each and every one of us to appreciation, understanding, and acceptance of everyone and everything. So, here we go. This is the way you both realize the God, you realize the universe, and become a high quality relationship builder. It's a much more deeper topic. A lot deeper. Which needs more contemplation, more learning, more studying. So even I am not really aware of the whole idea about us being a God, but still we might just embark on that path and learn more and more about this. So I recommend you doing that to understand better yourself, and this way better understand others. So if we sum up all the information we get, we realize that we are God. Eventually, we understand ourselves. We equally understand others' behaviors, psychological perhaps patterns, why they act in the way they do. We accept the reality. We see the reality as it is. We see the chair not as the mere notion of a chair, but as something more sophisticated. And here you get the love. Here you get the appreciation for others. Here you get pure compassion. Like, you stop hating. You forget about the feeling of hatred. It does not exist. It's just a habit we might acquire in our childhood when some kid you know, robs us, our sweets, for instance. And from that point on, we might start improving, developing this sense of hatred. But actually, it is not a real thing. You will grasp the idea much better after practicing putting yourself into the shoes of others. So, good luck with practicing this. Start by meditating, perhaps. Start by contemplating on your roots, what you are, what is the base for your existence. Not only for yours, but perhaps for all the planet. And if you understand that, you will understand that people are so great. There is nothing to criticize in other people. You just see all the good in them. And you will obtain the happiness, ultimate and all-encompassing happiness. You'll just wake up, feel happy, go to sleep, feel happy, wake up again, feel happy, go to sleep, and again, feel happy. So, my friend, hope you've learned the information you desire to learn from this video. Hope you enjoyed watching it, experiencing the new sensations, perhaps. Grateful for your attention. Thank you a lot. Thank you for visiting this channel. Little, but still vastly informative, I guess. And again, thank you. We'll meet in the next video.